I'm a loon, a winter loon. I'm always a loon. Well, it's getting to be that time, folks. Getting to be that time where we get to do some Joseph Murphy helpful pointers in the power of your subconscious mind. At the end of, I think, every chapter, Murphy has these summating points that he makes. And what we've been discussing the last couple of weeks is this idea of inner wealth. Inner wealth. I'm going to find the name of the chapter again. How to use the power of your subconscious for wealth from the power of your subconscious mind. We've done a lot of videos on this stuff. You know, we covered some Murphy stuff. We also covered many other great wealth teachers. As I said last video or 2 videos ago, by no means was this meant as like a comprehensive course, you know, or something like that on the subject. This is just more like a helpful overview, and the kind of overview that we just don't hear that often, you know, especially on places like YouTube, which is why this channel in large part exists, is to give you the uncommon common sense that these law of attraction, law of assumption, manifesting ideas can give us if we listen to them carefully. As I often say, I'm just shocked by the total lack of quality content when it comes to talking about these ideas on YouTube. It really is just shocking to me. I'm baffled, have been baffled, and probably will continue to be baffled by it. The common sense of someone like Joseph Murphy or Emile Coué is just totally bypassed for all this esoteric bullshit. And, you know, if you've been watching these last series of videos on inner wealth, I'm a spiritual guy. I'm into far out ideas. I mean, we're quoting Joel Goldsmith here. You know, we're quoting Raymond Charles Barker. These people were far out, you know, spiritual thinkers. But they also had a degree of like common sense that resonates with what they're saying that, again, I feel like is lacking in most of the advice we hear these days when it comes to law of attraction, law of assumption. I know I always say that, but it needs to be repeated, you know. So yeah, we're on to the helpful pointers for this chapter. I don't know if we'll get to all of them today. There's 15, and they're so freaking good. Again, this stuff is so good when we reflect on it. And again, also, this is not about like being perfect or being better than everyone else, understanding this stuff. I'm not claiming I understand this stuff better than other people or anything like that. This is just about exploring these ideas and applying them. You know, when I make this criticism of YouTube, it's because people aren't even exploring these ideas. They aren't even exploring them. They're just paying lip service to these great principles for inner wealth building, inner relationship building, inner health building. They're just paying lip service to it and then just giving you a bunch of misdirected advice that's probably not going to work for you. Like a quick fix that's like clearly not going to work for you long term. And let's talk about the opposite of that. Let's talk about stuff that will work if you work it. If you diligently and gently apply it in your life. Loon. Oh, man. It is just crazy to me. I know I'm ranting on this right now, but it's just crazy to me how few people talk about this. You know? Nuts. It's nuts. So at the end of this chapter, it's Murphy, the helpful pointers for this chapter. The title is Serve Yourself with the Powers of Your Mind. There's 15 points, summating points from the chapter. Number 1 is, decide to be wealthy the easy way, with the infallible aid of your subconscious mind. Or you could say with the aid of your imagination. Again, when we talk about the subconscious, we look at it the way that Coué looks at it, and the term subconscious is almost interchangeable with imagination. This is the easier way to feel wealthy and actually become wealthy in many ways, and perhaps in all ways in our external world. But certainly, in the very least, to feel wealthier is to use our imagination, to use our subconscious mind, to feel better about supply. to feel better about money. No matter what our external financial situation might currently be, we can use our imagination to feel better about our supply. Point 2, trying to accumulate wealth by the sweat of your brow and hard labor is one way to become the richest man in the graveyard. You do not have to strive or slave hard. We sometimes hear this, I wrote a whole book called Relax More, Try Less, right? But we don't hear this enough. We live in a go, go, go culture. At least if you're, watching this from, a Western culture perspective here. I don't know if you're some places in the world, perhaps it's not quite as go-go. But here in the West, people slave hard. And it's just, to me, it's always struck me as insanity. And one reason I got into these LOA ideas is because people like Murphy said quite clearly, you don't have to slave hard. You can relax some. You can use your imagination. You can use your subconscious mind to make things easier for you on a practical level. Why not do that if you want? Why not only work hard if you actually want to work hard? If it gives you, a measure of true satisfaction to work hard. A lot of us are just fooling ourselves when we're working hard as an excuse to mask the emotional pain we might feel underneath. There's no need to do that. Point 3, wealth is a subconscious conviction. Build into your mentality the idea of wealth. This is good stuff. There's no way we're going to cover all 15 points today because this is only point 3. These are so darn deep. Wealth is a subconscious conviction. We've been saying that line a lot. Wealth is a subconscious conviction on the part of the individual. Or you could say wealth is an imaginative conviction that you have. You use your imagination and you bring out that conviction. You convince yourself. You give yourself that belief that you are wealthy truly. Build into your mentality the idea of wealth. Man, good stuff. Point 4, the trouble with most people is that they have no invisible means of support. In other words, they don't do this. They don't do the preceding point. They have no subconscious imaginative conviction that supply is an inner quality, as Joel Goldsmith says. They don't have that. And we can start building that into our mentality. That we will always have wealth. That, money is God in action, as Raymond Charles Barker says. That we'll always have it. That it's circulating all the time. And that we are abundant right now. Point 5. Repeat the word wealth to yourself slowly and quietly for about 5 minutes prior to sleep, and your subconscious will bring wealth to pass in your experience. We went over this the other day. We'll link above. This is one of the easiest ways to test this, I would say, to test this idea in kind of just an easy, simple, direct manner is to say wealth or a similar word that is powerful for you. It doesn't have to be wealth. It could be health. It could be peace. It could be harmony. If you're, religiously bent, it could be God. It could be prosperity. It could be any one. Choose one word and just repeat it softly like a lullaby before sleep. Point 6. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. Keep this in mind at all times. This is very important. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. The feeling. So you can't fool yourself, Passing thoughts don't mean much, but the continual train of thoughts you have, the regular train of thoughts, series of thoughts you have day after day, that's what's shaping your life. And if you feel wealthy, you're going to have wealth in your life. It's that simple. The next point goes into that. Point 7, your conscious and subconscious mind must agree. In other words, your thinking and your imagination must agree. Whatever you're imagining is happening in your life. Point 7, again, your conscious and subconscious mind must agree. Your subconscious accents what you really feel to be true. The dominant idea is always accepted by your subconscious mind. The dominant idea should be wealth, not poverty. I'm going to read this again, and I'll just replace it with imagination. Your conscious and subconscious mind must agree. Your imagination accents what you really feel to be true. That's what your imagination accents. That's what it plays off, is what you really feel to be true. You can't fool yourself about how you feel about your wealth or about your health or about your relationships. You can't fool yourself. Your imagination is accenting what you really feel to be true. The dominant idea is always accepted by your imagination. The dominant idea should be wealth, not poverty. Whew, this is good stuff. Man, Joseph Murphy, helpful pointers! Loon.